Welcome back to AM Live. I'm here with the lovely Marla Vander Meer. The eating disorder program that has been going on, which is very, very important because, as you know, all these, especially these last 10 years, we have had an abundance, just vast young people having these eating disorders. And I'm finding now, and doing reading on it, that there are a lot of young men that are starting to have eating disorders.
Absolutely. We have over 30 million people in this country, both men and women, who have eating disorders. And 10 million of those are men who have things like anorexia and bulimia, things that we never thought that men would end up having to deal with. We've also got young girls who, most 10-year-old girls already hate themselves and hate their bodies and have dieted. So it is really epidemic in terms of our not liking ourselves and that leading to eating disorders. So.
Well, unfortunately, we have a situation where we have models out in the forefront, and, I'd like to kill them for their body. But the thing is that we have models, we have athletes that are doing all these, all these different advertisements with their shirt off, with the washboard abs and everything, and it's just making these young people feel that their body is inadequate, and they've got to learn to embrace what they have.
That would be nice, but it's sort of hard when you're growing up and you're surrounded with the cosmetics industry and the media industry and all the other industries who want us to not like ourselves so that we will make sure that we can support them financially. But yeah, we get a lot of pressure to not like ourselves, and that's really tough.
So tell me about the program. What does it do and how does it help?
Well, this is actually, I call it a healing and support group because we're coming at this a little different than most people do. First thing to know probably is that just because a person has an eating disorder doesn't mean necessarily that they look like they do, that they're too fat or they're too thin. That a lot of people with eating disorders look like everybody else. The other thing is that even though there are lots of programs, there are programs for eating disorders, there are programs for diets, there are programs for exercise, that unless we really care about ourselves and feel that we're worth taking care of, those things don't work.
It's like a Band-Aid.
Well, the diet industry alone, we support millions of dollars a year because we want to be different than who we are, and we want to look different, and dieting is chronic, and it's lifelong, more often than not. I started dieting at age 12, and it completely destroyed my metabolism and I have other health issues because of it.
Look at New Year's Eve, everybody. What's your resolution? I'm going to start working
absolutely.
out. I'm going to lose 20 pounds this year. So it's always, you can't walk by a mirror without saying, oh boy, it's always there. And the media, and because of all the advertisements in magazines, the media anywhere, TV, all over the place, it's constant.
All the time, we're surrounded by it. And so the approach that we've taken is that we want to look at wellness. We want to look at overall wellness, body, mind, spirit. We want to take a very integrated approach, bringing in education, bringing in spiritual growth, bringing in all sorts of things, knowledge of our bodies and nutrition. But the very basis of it is what I call radical compassion. How radical is it to like who you are and to dare to love who you are and to feel that it's okay to take care of yourself? Because if we don't believe that we're worth taking care of, no matter how many new programs we start in order to better ourselves, we're not going to be able to manage it. We're not going to be able to keep it up. As you said, the New Year's Eve resolutions, where we're constantly every year, okay, this year I'm going to do it. This year I'm going to do it. But if we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't feel like we can take care of ourselves, it isn't going to work.
I think another thing, too, that people have to remember, Marla, is that you have to take little steps. You can't say, I'm going on a diet, and if you don't lose 25 pounds by the end of 7 days, I give up. You can't, or if you've put on weight, embrace your curves. that, just embrace them. If your body's going through, I think that a lot of time women do this, especially when they start getting their own personal summers and whatever. It is nature's way. You put on weight, and I've heard many people my age still are having like a disorder with their eating, and it's like just go with the flow. That
would be nice.
But it's not happening.
It's chronic. It's chronic.
But when you look at the movies today, you look and you see, okay, we see all the hot bodies, whatever. One of the most beautiful women today that is on the screen is Melissa McCarthy.
She is.
She is beautiful. She's funny. She's like Ed. She's funny. She has embraced her curves. She's on television. She's in the movies. And she is absolutely fantastic. Rebel Wilson. And these girls are out there and they're saying, Billy be damn, I'm going to do this. I don't care if I'm a little overweight. They're not going to allow their being a little overweight or some people being a little underweight. The tabloids even go after women that are too thin.
Oh, absolutely. You can't be good enough. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. No. So, and you're referring to people who have accepted themselves and like who they are.
As they should.
And I believe they are also people who have said, I'm going to be the most healthy person I can be.
Right.
And whether that means that I look appropriate to other people or not doesn't really matter. As long as I'm healthy, as long as I'm able to live life the way I want to live, that works.
Tell me about the group and when do you meet?
We meet on Thursdays. Oh, wait a minute, not Thursdays.
Tuesdays.
We meet on Tuesdays.
There
we meet
you
on
go.
Tuesdays from 3:30 to 5. And I know that's a little early for a lot of people, so if I had enough people who are interested in a later group, we'd definitely do a later group as well. We meet at Sierra Wind Wellness and Recovery Center here in Jackson, up on Argonaut. And let's see, what else?
If they need information, can they call?
They can absolutely call me, and actually we have that information right here. My phone number is 256-3750. That's my cell. You can get me anytime on it.
Great.
And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to give me a call. And again, I just want to reiterate, this is really about compassion, about loving ourselves, about strengths-based
and being well.
approach, and about being well.
Very,
absolutely.
Very, very good. Marla, thank you so much for sharing all your experience with us. It's very, very important that we let people know out there, not only just